Welcome back to part 2 of our video, Another Attack Yawn. Let's just jump right in with the video. Let's go. Here's the crux of what happened. Harry and Meghan put out a notice with 10 minutes notice to the family because, after all, one of the tabloids had gotten a hold of the information and was getting ready to release it. So they put out this notice where they decided they were going to do a half-in, half-out life where they got to keep their security, they got to keep their royal residences, but they could cherry pick what they wanted to attend. Well, of course, the Queen said no to this, and they ended up having the Sandringham Summit. And it was during this summit that Harry was basically told, you're either in or you're out. And I'd also like to point out that before the Sandringham Summit, in their statement, they claimed that they don't want public funding. That's what they said. So during the Oprah show, because that's what it was, this is what Harry said about being cut off.
My family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us.
Wait, hold up, wait a minute. Your family cut you off?
Yeah, in the first quarter of 2020. But I've got what my mum left me.
So basically, this 36-year-old man was whining that his father cut him off, and keep in mind that he had $30 to $40 million of his own money in the bank, not including what Meghan had. That now he's claiming he was cut off because there was a legal paper and there was the name of an aide in the legal paper, which I believe to be Jason Knopf and his partner. And when the royal family asked him to remove the name of that person from his legal paper and he refused, that's when he was cut off. I don't believe that for one freaking second. It's the same old story, new twist. I also find it very interesting that they completely left out that the Queen gave them a 1-year probationary period to decide whether they wanted to stay in or stay out. And the Duchy of Cornwall accounts, when they came out and they were put out into the public, showed that Harry and Meghan's security was being paid for by the King when they were talking to Oprah. And the Royal Foundation accounts showed that they gave them millions. Just as a reminder, as part of the summit, they could call themselves the Sussexes, but they couldn't use their HRH. But they used their HRH several times anyway. Nor could they monetize Sussex Royal. They were not allowed to keep their royal patronages, and while they repaid the £2.4 million cost of renovating Frogmore, they didn't pay any rent up until it was taken away from them. That was something we found out later on. And again, Charles funded them up until the summer of 2020. But the biggest thing for Harry was that he lost all of his military titles. That was the thing for him that was like the end. This hit piece basically says that they were forced into taking the money-making deals with Netflix because they were cut off, even though it's been proven now that they were in communication with Netflix before they left. And again, it's Harry and Meghan who said they didn't want any money from the public. But what they want is the public to continue to pay for their UK security while they're living in the United States, because according to them, they're just as important and in just as much danger as the King. Don't believe it. And now they're claiming that the reason Charles removed their security was to bring them, to force them back into the fold. They would have no choice but to return to working royals. Actually, during the Sandringham Summit, they were told that they would lose their security, and Harry even said so in despair. But what he said was very telling. He said he never thought they'd actually do it. So what it comes down to is that Harry, a man in his late 30s, who literally was worth $30 to $40 million, expected to be funded by his father and by the UK public, even though he decided to leave the royal family, not do any work for the royal family, and leave the country. When you leave a job, you don't continue to get the perks. The Sandringham Summit was very clear about what he was going to get and what he wasn't going to get, but he just didn't believe them. King Charles was very straight up to them and told them what their choices would be if they left the UK. And by the way, Meghan was whining, I didn't even get a seat at the table. Imagine having this discussion and I wasn't allowed to be there. No, she could have been there. She decided to leave the UK. All she had to do was wait 1 more day. But no, she had to rush back to Archie, and she wanted to Zoom call in, and the royal family already had her number. They knew that she would be recording it or something else nefarious would be going on. So if she couldn't be there in person, she couldn't attend. And then she started whining about it. So in case you missed the whole thing, what it comes down to is the family didn't want them to go overseas, and they tried to sabotage them by cutting off the money, which, by the way, was paid to them for a full year, which is what was agreed to, and by removing their security, which is something that Harry admitted he was told would happen, but he didn't think it would. I agree with this Twitter user. They were exposed by Jason Knopf in the appeal, that Meghan did for the letter, which clearly showed that she and Harry had a hand in on finding freedom and made him look bad. And so now they're trying to say it was the aides who were leaking without having any evidence, which is why they were cleared and why nothing ever happened. And as far as the leaking goes, let's just remember during the Netflix docuseries when they were looking at the drones and they were going, oh my God, these people are crazy. They're going to wake up Archie. Why don't they stop? Why don't they leave us alone? Only to use the Freedom of Information Act and find out that it was Meghan who leaked where they were. Nobody knew where they were, but Meghan leaked and breached her own privacy without telling Harry. I don't understand why Harry hasn't been able to put two and two together. He can't be that thick, can he? And I find it very suspicious that this is coming out now, that the Earthshot Prize is coming up and the trip to Kenya is coming up, because we know whenever the royal family is going to get positive press, Harry and Meghan come out with something to try to steal the attention. It's typical behavior. What everybody keeps forgetting is that Harry and Meghan chose this. They were given a 1-year probationary period that they didn't want, and then at the end of the 1 year, they tried to extend it, and the family said no. They chose to walk away. Now they're having financial issues. Now they're pulling this crap. Now, I find what Murky Meg found to be very interesting. In looking at this article that was written, she found out, believe it or not, that they talked about, are you ready? Christopher Boozy and Bot Sentinel, which, by the way, is now dead in the water because he's no longer scraping data from X or Twitter because of Elon Musk. He's not allowed to put links up asking for money, and it doesn't work anymore. But that didn't keep them from putting up this ridiculous diagram that he put in his initial report. So to finish this up, I completely agree with this Twitter user. His entire life, whether he was at school, in the army, in the family, he's made demands, and his family has given him his way every time. And now they're not responding, and the silence is killing him. So I said it before, and I am saying it one more time. They keep saying they're done attacking the family. They're going to continue to attack the family, but they're going to claim they had nothing to do with this, just like they're going to claim they had nothing to do with Omid Scobie's new book. Hey, let's be honest. Harry is a spoiled man-child who's got no training, who doesn't have a job, and who has nothing except a privileged, pampered life. He has never matured past the age of 12. We already know he has a drug and alcohol issue, an anger issue. This is a man who was William Spare. Now he's become Meghan Spare, but he's so thick he doesn't even see it. I agree with Candace Owens. When there's news about them, I just don't want to click on it anymore. We get it. You're a victim. You'll always be a victim. Woe is you. It's really pathetic. I absolutely want your comments on this because I want to know what you think about this piece. Do you think Harry and Meghan had a hand in on it? Because I really, really do. So don't forget to leave those comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you've already hit it, double check. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you've donated to my coffee fund or through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.